Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. I have a classic from Neil Young today. We learn how to do Harvest Moon. So this one's basically, it's going to be a pretty quick lesson. We have 4 chord progressions to take a look at, and you're all done. He just kind of repeats those throughout. So some of the stuff can be a little bit challenging though if you want to kind of put everything together like he's doing on the recording. So it's going to be a fun little challenge. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell so you can like and comment and all this stuff. Really, I keep saying this recently, support your favorite guitar YouTuber. You probably noticed that my videos and most other guitar tutorial channels, their views on their most recent releases is way down. So only you guys have the power to stop that. You know, YouTube algorithm is based around your preferences. So if you're not getting shared my videos, even though you're a subscriber, it usually means you're not watching my videos. If you want to support, even if it's a song you hate, turn it on, let it ring, let your cat watch it, and it really helps the kind of algorithm and people start pushing this content. So we have guitar players 50 years from now and not just a bunch of DJs and stuff like that. So please check it out. And if you really want to support what I do here on YouTube, you're going to see, and you really want to learn to play more than just songs on the guitar, or transcribe them yourself and don't need an idiot like me to do it for you, you're going to see a link to my Guitar Academy in the description below, and that is a YouTube only link. What that means is that link gives you 40% off of my annual subscription rate. You will not see that price on my website. You have to click that link. And if you've never had a subscription before, you get a free 7-day trial too before that thing even kicks in. So you get full access throughout even the trial, all the courses, complete courses for beginners to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone. I'm live pretty much 99% of the Saturdays. I do live stream for just Academy members. It usually goes about 90 minutes. And you get personalized support from me beyond that as well. So please go check it out. All right, let's get into the song. We're in drop D tuning. So you're gonna take your low E string. It's other than that, so you have a standard tune guitar. Take the low E string though and tune it down to a D. So tune it down a whole step to D. And then everything else is like a standard tune guitar, A, D, G, B, E. All right, let's jump into this main riff that you hear throughout the song. All right, so he starts this, he plays this 4 times for the intro of the song. So it kind of starts out, we just kind of hit the bottom 3 strings a couple times. And then we're gonna start with the actual riff. So what he's doing there is he's gonna be hitting the notes you're gonna actually have to finger those, the 10th fret on the B and the 11th fret there on the G. So you're gonna pick like the top 4 strings after you let these ring underneath. And you have the open high E string, that 10th fret on the B, the 11th fret on the G, the open D. You hit that once, and then you change the note on the B string to the 12th fret. And you do 2 strums on that. And then in between there's a little pause there after that chord that looks like this. And you need to keep your hand moving, even if you're not hitting the strings there. That's what keeps that rhythm going. And you'll see him do that live. Sometimes he'll actually strum that chord a little bit more live. He might hit it an extra time, but on the recording it's pretty much this. But you're gotta keep that hand going. So we have this. You hit the bottom strings again, and then we're gonna change the chord up top. This is gonna be the 9th fret on the high E string, 10th on the B, and 11th on the G. Strum that a little bit. So all together. So remember when you're doing this chord, you still have that open high E string in there. That's what kind of gives it its unique sound to it. So we have this. And then here, obviously no open high E there since you're playing the 9th frets. So that's it, you can do that 4 times. Now for this verse, more than any other part of the song, there's some more than one guitar going on a lot of times, just kind of filling up space and stuff. But this verse, there's really two distinct guitar parts going here. We have one that's strumming an E minor chord, and then we have one doing harmonics. So when you see Neil play this live, he usually just does the harmonics, and he just lets them ring. He doesn't do any kind of strumming there. He just lets those ring because he wants the harmonics to ring out. When you saw me do it in the intro, I played those harmonics, and then I went and strummed that E minor because it's on the recording. I kind of like the sound of keeping the sound going a little bit there. All right, so let's look at these two parts kind of separate first, and then we'll put them together a little bit. So first, underneath it all, that you don't see Neil strum live, is there's an E minor chord being strummed underneath those harmonics. So usually on a standard tuned guitar, you just play it like this, right? The second fret on the D and the A, and then you have the low E open. But since we're tuned down to drop D, this string is tuned down a whole step. So in order to make this string sound like an E again, we have to play the second fret there on the low string. So it's basically second fret on the bottom three strings, and then open G, open B, open high E string. So that's being strummed just underneath those harmonics. Now what Neil actually does live, he just kind of sticks with the harmonics. Even though they're more difficult to play, I think he likes the sound of them, and he lets them ring, and he doesn't do any of the strumming of the E minor. But you can do both. So the harmonics he plays is this. So he's basically at the 12th fret on the G, the high E, the B, then the G, and then the D, and then the 7th fret on the A string. So that's that timing. Dun, 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 dun. So live, he just kind of, you'll see him kind of, he's moving his, like he even keeps his hand moving there, like he's imagining that he's strumming that E minor chord, just so shows you that's what good rhythm skills have you do. He's like just doing strumming midair, and then he goes back to the harmonics. But you can, what I've been doing is just kind of, so going and grabbing that E minor chord and strum it for the second half of it. Then I would go and repeat the harmonics again. He probably doesn't do it because it requires a little bunch of jumping around or whatever, and when you're singing and stuff, it's not that easy. All right, so that's the first half of the verse. So you can do it just strumming the E minor if you want, just playing the harmonics, or putting them together, so you choose. All right, so after you've done that twice, it goes to this. All right, so that's basically back to this D, so you hit the open, bottom three strings open, and then you strum a D major chord, just down, up, down, up. And then it does this, D major to a D major 7, which is from the D major just borrowing the top three strings of the second fret, so the high E, B, and the G. Then what he's going to do is he's going to come over here and play an A major chord. So it's the open A string now, second fret across the D, G, and the B. So just a bar again, so you just basically move that bar over. And then he's going to move this up to a D major in second version. So we still have that open A string. Kind of a Keith Richards thing. So that's the third fret there on the B, second fret still on the G, so you still get that bar going. Then you just bring down the third fret on the B, and then the fourth fret there on the D with the open A string to ring in. So. Repeat. So that's the verse. You repeat it twice. All right, from there we get to the third chord progression, which is the pre-chorus, which is pretty similar to the intro. It has that little main riff in there, so it looks like this. All right, so that's pretty simple. We're just gonna start here. This chord we're gonna strum for a bit. So we basically have this 5th fret there on the low E string. Obviously it's a D string now. Then the 5th fret there on the A, open D, open G, open B, open I, E string. What this actually makes is a G6 chord. And then we get to that main riff done twice. And then back to that G6. Back to the riff. Now the chorus looks like this. Back to that main riff. So that's pretty simple. What this first chord is, it's an A7 sus4. What sus means is you're replacing the third with something. In this case, you're replacing it with the 4th note. So 4th note in the scale. So let's take a look at it like this. We have open A, 2nd fret on the D, open G, then that 3rd fret there on the B string. That's the 4th. There's the D, and then the open I, E. So you'll strum that first. Then it resolves that from an A7 sus4 to just a normal A7. So that means this 4th note becomes the normal 3rd of an A dominant 7 chord, which is the C sharp here. So that's just the 2nd fret there on the B and the 2nd fret on the G. I'm sorry, 2nd fret on the D there. Open A, open G, open I, E in there. All right, then back to the sus chord. Back to the A7 normal. So pretty simple chorus. All right, so we're back to the main riff, done 4 times. And then back to the verse. So the same verse, same pre-chorus, same chorus again, and then back into the same main riff. So it kind of just goes through the whole song again, the same all parts that we've already covered. The only really thing that there's any kind of difference now is when we get to the harmonica solo. So that harmonica solo is over the pre-chorus. But as you know, the pre-chorus was like this. So the pre-chorus generally has that chord and it ends with that main riff, right? However, during the harmonica solo, it starts with this chord. So there's a little variation he does here. So this, you play the pre-chorus riff twice, but this first ending, instead of doing the main riff, he does that second half of the verse. So it looks like this. So this is the same. this replaces the main riff here. And then the second time playing the riff, we're back to the old main riff that ends it. So there's just a slight variation, but they're all parts that we've covered before. They're just, so it's basically that pre-chorus chord and then that to end it, which is, we've already done that, learned how to play that, but that's in the verse, right? This is obviously underneath the harmonica solo only. And then back to this. And in that harmonica section with this, the normal. Then you come out of the harmonica solo with just the chorus. Then we're going to end the song with that same main riff played 4 times and then just a slight strum. Looks like this. So anyway, the same riff we played 4 times. And that little ending here is just basically strumming across from the you're basically playing that first chord. I'm just playing the 10th fret there on the B, 11th on the G, open D, open A, open E. Now, you might want to put that in there. But that's not actually being played. What you're hearing, if you hear any kind of, you hear that, and you can still kind of hear, oh, I can hear that E in there. So it's an overtone. It's kind of part of the harmonic series. So those are what you're hearing. Oh, this is probably this name. There's a little bit of A down there. But what you can physically see played is that. So you can do it like that if you want, but I think that sounds better. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a really fun song to play. It's beautiful. It's got some really nice parts that aren't overly difficult to play, but aren't like dead simple. You gotta have a little bit of challenge here or there. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.